Howdy, hombres! My name's L.A.zy, and I hope you're all back to the letter. In the last episode, we were with Marianne, but she unfortunately got caught by the ghost in the manor's underground chambers, wherever the hell those were. And then we immediately switched into Rebecca, who was initially skeptical of the letter, but she encountered the ghost herself as well while driving Isabella to her house. They almost veered off the road and crashed, almost died. Well, the key words being almost, since they are alive and well here. And we're about to continue Rebecca's chapter and see where the hell everything goes from here. So without further ado, let's get into this. It begins innocently enough. Tuesday morning arrives like any other day before it, bright and clear. Even though it comes with an extra helping of the unusual October weather, I appreciate being able to catch a glimpse of the clear skies lately. After going through a bout of sickness last week, it does something to lift the mood of what would otherwise be a dreary morning. And despite being mostly a creature of habit, I wind up waking earlier than usual because of it. Still no earlier than Isabella, it appears. I assume she'll take a day off or two because of what happened to Miss Cooper, but that doesn't seem to be the case. The sound of the morning news drift from the unit when I walk past on the way to my mailbox. Chances are around this hour she's already dressed and ready to go, probably just waiting for the next bus to arrive. I've tried following her example before, but I don't think I'll be repeating that.
Really? How can anyone be up before the sun is up?
It's a habit she's got from home, she said, instilled in by the kind of life she grew up in. Like clockwork, it's always at 4 a.m., either to help with the chores or prepare her little siblings for school. It surprised me the first time. She just didn't look like someone who could. In the end, I've simply passed it off as one of the many things Amy will have to get used to around her. Not that I'll ever fully understand. My parents, only, in my parents' only child, we aren't well off, but so far I've lived a relatively easy life. I didn't have to think about bills or food for the next day or paying for any siblings' tuition on top of my own, or supporting a sick father's medication. All I have to worry about were my grades. If I gained mom and dad's approval of what we'd be having for dinner, when put next to hers, they all pale in comparison. They look less like problems and more like petty issues this way.
Petty issues?
But as unimportant as all that sounds, sometimes its ugly head rears at the most inappropriate moments. Sometimes they come through your mailbox in the form of a fancy-looking letter, pretty ribbons and all. Whoever sent this is spent stealing money on your envelope alone. Verging on ridiculous, really. You can already imagine Isabella wrinkling her nose when she sees this, and she'll complain about unnecessary expenses and rich people problems. I'm almost afraid to touch it myself, as if simply brushing a hand against its crisp surface will be enough to put a crease on it, and it'll be a terrible slight to the sender. But as extravagant as I find this, it isn't really the first time I received one. Most of the time it's not even from me, so who am I to complain? Either way, no look of surprise crosses my face once I flip the envelope over to see my parents' names written in a neat script.
Nothing new then.
The years in the academe The years in the academy naturally brought with it various connections, people from other fields, art, science, business, politics, you name it. Mr. Alistair and Miss Alyssa Gales, her parents. This one, though, gives off a much personal vibe. Letters like this usually come from old students, who have grown fond of my parents and they in turn treat like children of their own. I've only met a few of them. Most have moved on to become successful in their chosen careers, and little letters like this are their way of expressing gratitude. It's one thing mom and dad all are proud of, rightfully so, and I'm happy for them. But there are times I wish they'll remember they have a daughter here, the real one. Not that it's of any importance now. It's not like they didn't raise me as well as providing for me. They did. I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for their hard work. And like a dutiful child, I do everything I can to give back. Even if it's small a thing as letting them know they've got another meal waiting for them. The phone rings for a good minute before someone answers. Mom, her voice is warm as I remember.
Becca?
Hi, Mum. How's the conference going?
Well enough. Until your dad sprained his ankle.
Oh no, is it bad?
I'm alright. In case anyone in this family cares to listen, I'm alright. Very much alive, darling.
And there you have it. He'll be up and walking in a few weeks, don't worry. We're going to have to extend our stay here until it heals, though. Is something the matter?
Nothing big. Just that this mail arrived for you this morning.
A lie. Thankfully, she doesn't notice. Though, if I'm going to be honest, a small part of me yearns for her to do so and ask me about it. But I put down the idea almost as soon as it surfaces. Shouldn't make them fret. They're busy.
What does it say?
Raise your glasses, give cheers to the good times, blah blah.
Becca manners. That isn't how I taught you to read.
Sorry. You are cordially. It's an invitation, Mum, for a housewarming party. From, Hannah?
Name rings a bell, though at the moment I can't recall when or where I've heard it recently. It must be nothing too important if I don't bother coming it to memory. There are a lot of Hannahs in the world, so who knows?
Hannah.
She also wrote you a note, Mum. It says you used to be her private tutor at the Evans mansion, and that she misses you and would love to see you two again.
Makes my heart clench to read another openly say those words to them, the same ones I want to tell them. I want to see you too. Aw, it's been years since we've been together as a family, and if there's one thing that hasn't changed from childhood, it's that Mom and Dad are still busy with their respective careers. Out of the country, away in some meeting or symposium, sometimes for months on end. I only grew more frequent with the years until I'm old enough to live on my own. I like to think that's how I've become independent at such an early age. They've always praised me for that. At times I wish they didn't.
Evans? Oh, I remember now. Honey, it's Hannah. Hannah Evans. Remember? Bright girl, 2 years older than Becca?
Didn't she get married a few years ago? 7 now, I think. But, they grow up so fast, these kids.
Yeah, she invited us to that too. Fonte de Medici. But we missed that one because you had to present your paper in Singapore.
We did send her a note after. Still a shame we couldn't attend, though. What is it about this time?
She sent another invite for a housewarming party. Becca, when is it?
This Friday, Mum.
Oh, that's too bad. We'd love to be there, but Da's not in a condition to go walking around. I guess we'd have to decline again. I really miss that girl.
I could go in your place.
I let it slip without thinking. Personally, I've never been fond of gatherings, regardless of how simple people make it seem. If there's one thing I hate, hearing that disappointed note in Mom's voice always ranks first. Whether it's directed at me or some other thing doesn't matter.
Are you sure? Don't you have work this Friday?
The event will be in the evening, Mum. It shouldn't take anything away from my schedule. It's all right. The invite's for 2 people. I can bring someone with me so things don't get boring.
I see. Maybe you can also invite Ashton?
Mum, that's a sure no
Aw.
from him. He hates attending parties. But I'll see what I can
She's
do.
blushing.
If not, I can always bring Isabella with me. You know her. She won't say no if there's food involved.
Okay, if it's not going to be a big problem for you, I don't see why not. We owe you this one, darling.
No problem, Mum. I'll even say hi to Hannah for you.
Please do. And let her know we'd love to see her once we're back in the city. Leave her our number or something.
I will.
But you know, the 2 of you would have become really good friends. Don't you remember? You met with her once. If my memory serves me right, you were 12 then?
This too I can't recall. It's probably one of those meetings where we only talked a bit before going our ways. If she did leave an impression, I'm pretty sure I would have written about it somewhere, or at least recognized her name. As it is, the only few people I remember clearly from that time in my life is Ashton and Mandy, to some extent. Mums must have sensed my confusion because she laughs.
Don't push yourself too hard, darling. Really? It felt like having 2 daughters back then. Sometimes I wish they didn't send her away to boarding school. But, well, you know how often that goes with them.
She has a weird accent. It's definitely not British.
Still, try talking to her while you're there.
Oh, we'll see. I'll let you know what happens after.
I'm looking forward to it, darling. Take care of yourself.
Will do. You too, Mum. Bye. Tell Da to be careful next time.
She chuckles then. A hearty one, tender and always lying in my ears. She may be a stern teacher, but this is the part of her I love the most. The sound of it still echoes even as her call comes to an abrupt end, bringing with a memory from so many years ago. The life and responsibilities that accompany adulthood are things far from our minds. Given the chance, I'd love to go back to those. I don't dwell on it, though, shaking all away almost as soon as the memory forms a clear picture in my head. I've always wondered how Isabella could easily pretend everything's normal over a phone call, and bounce back to her usual self immediately after. I've seen her do it plenty of times. Maybe it just drains whatever energy I have. And with a whole day of teaching still ahead of me, I can't afford to look exhausted in front of my students. Even for a wee bit, it's never a good example to set. So with another sigh, I put everything in the back of my mind and trek back to my room. The rest of my day waits. 15 minutes later, I'm heading back out, dressed for the day, my car keys in hand. Ordinarily, I don't stop for anything, just never need to. That's the beauty of this apartment complex. It's quiet and everyone keeps to themselves. No useless platitudes in the morning, no need to wear a smile on your face list. Other people are nosy enough to ask. Hey, however, the morning broadcast still plays in Isabella's room. A brisk pace slows to a stop and a frown gradually forms in my face.
She hasn't left.
Of course, this isn't unusual. There are times when I've left earlier than she did, like last Friday before the open house. Those days are few and far between. It only happens in the direst circumstances. The last part of that might be a little bit of an exaggeration. However, what's happened in the last few days, maybe today's one. The death of a friend is something anyone can brush off, and for someone like Isabella's the kind who gets attached to people easily. With Zachary, Ashton, and I, that has been the case. Can't imagine what she might be going through right now, especially when the woman was someone she owed a lot, despite her training being brief. I've given her the space last night in deference, but perhaps today might be proper time to check on her.
Oh, whatever. I've still got time anyway.
With light steps, I move closer to the door handle already poised to knock. Still, I don't do so until I hear her answer me.
Isabella? Belle? Are you in there?
No answer. After a second, I finally knock, lightly so I don't disturb her, in case she's sleeping and has merely left the telly running last night. Never mind how she never lets that happen, ever. Waste of electricity and all.
I just want to check on you before I leave. Is that okay? Are you going to work today? Belle?
Still nothing.
I'm about to leave. If you want, I can drop you
She
off.
probably left and forgot to turn off her TV. Another round of knocking. Then I'm fishing out a copy of her key from my bag and unlocking the door. She lent it years ago after I complained about the mess and offered my help in cleaning up. I thought the gesture was completely unnecessary back then. After all, it could always not. She never did bother taking them from me, always returning it or turning it away in conversation whenever I insist. At one point, I've simply stopped trying to hang back to her.
Isabella? I'm coming in, all right?
Without waiting for her answer, I push the door open and step inside. The unit's still a mess. Instant noodle cups on the table, a pile of clothes on the inside, papers strewn about everywhere, and an unkempt bed, among other things. This much is a given, will always be a given. I've been here several times already, and I still wonder how she can function like a human being when the place is in this state. However, that's neither here nor there. I'm not sure what I'm expecting, but certainly not finding an empty flat. Granted, she could have left earlier, far earlier than usual. She never ever leaves without making sure she's unplugged everything. There's nothing she doesn't forget to do. It doesn't help that her bathroom appears unused this morning. Another happened, and it only means she hasn't been here since last night? Perhaps even since this morning after Miss Cooper's death. Oh, this is right after the death of Miss Cooper, when the ghost or either someone else got her. Either idea doesn't sit well with me, or with the news we've been hearing lately.
The authorities are still trying to find the cause of death for all the victims. Early investigation revealed most of them were employed under Briar Realty Corporation at the time of death. Meanwhile, BRC has refused to comment on this.
Gathering my wits, I immediately place a call to her mobile. It rings for a good minute. It sounded comforting in itself, but when another minute rolls by without her answering, I'm now a woman prone to panicking. Something about to temper maybe, but never panic, despite how it may sound when speaking. And when it ultimately goes straight to her voicemail, a sigh is the only thing I let out. The pause doesn't last long though. Next moment, my fingers are already moving across the screen, searching the two people who might be able to help. It's Ashton's number I find first and dial. Call it a habit, but even Isabella thinks he's dependable when the situation calls for it, despite how much they give each other grief. Well, already says a lot about him. There's Zachary, but around this hour he's probably still sleeping. He has freelance work, it's very likely he just got himself in bed. He's the last person I want to bother, if anything. The wait doesn't take long. Soon the click, and Ashton's voice echoes through the receiver, rough and still heavy with sleep. I never did grow fond of mornings.
Becca? Christ, what time is it?
Not you, apparently.
Good one. Did you call this early just to make that joke? I'm going back to sleep.
No, Ash, hold on. This is important.
Becca, stakeout last night. Make this quick. I've still got a few hours before the chief bothers me.
Sorry, I'll let you go back to sleep after. It's just that... Wait, you were on a stakeout last night?
Did I say that? Shit. Forget I said that. Forget I said anything. Forget we had this conversation.
So, you have no idea?
About what? About what? I also have no idea why we're talking so early in the morning, so there's that.
No, will you stop sleep talking or whatever for a second? Belle didn't come home last night. She's gone.
Who?
Isabella!
Instead of an answer, a brief pause comes after, followed by something blunt and heavy-hitting a hard surface and a string of rather colorful curses from him. Nor might have been one of the many things I'll keep to myself and remember following the next few days. Things aren't the way they are. He picks up again, there's no trace of sleep left in his voice.
Say that again, from the top.
Isabella's gone, Ash. She didn't come home last night. Her flat's empty. She left her telly running. You know she doesn't do that at...
Okay, Becca, stop. Calm down first. You're starting to panic.
I'm not!
You are. Breathe. One person's not going to simply disappear like that. This is Isabella we're talking about. Did you try calling her?
What did you think is the first thing I did? She's not picking up. It went to her voicemail.
How about Zach? Did you check with him?
Not yet. I didn't want to bother him. You know he has trouble sleeping and all that.
All right, I'll go ask Zach. I'll call you back.
No, wait!
He ends the call before I can utter a single word of protest. Oh boy. But for the first time since entering this room, tension is gone from my shoulders and my breathing is eased. The bed creases and sink down on it with a sigh. The telly still blares the same uninteresting news. I'm surrounded by clutter. All the same, it feels strangely calm to be here without worry nagging me. I have to apologize to Zachary later for sending Ashton his way this early. But for now, relying on the latter, this isn't the wrong choice. It never will be. It's something I won't ever doubt in him, much like his promises. True to his words, he calls back only a few minutes after the last one has ended.
She's with Zach.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that. She could have at least sent a message last night.
What are you, her mother?
It's one thing to hear that from Isabel, but from Ashton?
I don't want to hear anything like that from you.
I'm serious. You've got to stop treating her like she's one of your students, Becca. You don't have to keep tabs on her every time. Last I checked, she's only 3 years younger than the two of us. That's almost a decade gap from those kids you're teaching, you know.
Says the person who keeps calling her Scaredy Cat.
That's not related at all. Anyway, I'll go check how she's doing. Don't stress yourself out. You go ahead to work.
Wait, you? Don't you have a precinct to be at? Whatever happened to not treating her like one of my students? Because if anyone's going to ask me, I think you're doing the same thing.
Zach said it's an emergency. Something happened last night.
Emergency?
He didn't put in those exact same words, but it sounded like it.
Ash, what really happened? Is Isabella fine?
She's alright. She's safe. Zach let her stay the night after she... Look, okay. Z-Man wasn't clear about it, but let me handle this. I'll check on her. I'll bring her home.
Sounds like a lie if I ever heard one. Sort where he omits things so people won't fret, and I'm not sure whether I should be happy he cares that much to do that. There shouldn't be a need for this between us, is there? We grew up together, didn't we? He knows I'm capable of at least hearing out the truth without gnawing at me for the rest of the day. He knows me better than that. I know him better than that. Frankly, there's plenty of other things to say about this. But despite and after all the trouble he went through with how things are moving at the moment, only one thing occurs to me. I recognize concern when it is. A plus with Ashton, okay? It's not new for him to go out of his way for us, and to be honest, this is what I love about him. As much as I would have loved to take this off his hands, it's only selfish of me to insist considering he knows of my other commitments. To do so feels like I'm trampling on that kindness he seldom offers to anyone.
Sorry for putting you up to this.
Nah, don't mention it. You've got other things you need to worry about. Take care of those first. This is a small thing.
I still owe you one.
Oh, I can name a few things you can do about that. You know, there's this ice cream shop that opened near the movie house. I could use.
Okay, let's stop right there. That's enough. On second thought, maybe I'll just think about it some other time.
Harsh.
We both laughed, sound lighter and more comfortable. Like the old days, when we were 26-year-olds at the bottom of the list we need to worry about. This is how we find common ground. We now agree on a lot of things, we may see things the way the other does, but the give and take is something we'll learn to get used to over the years. Whenever it's like this, confidence in him is the least I can offer as thanks.
Really. Thanks for this, Ash.
I'll let you know what happened afterwards, I promise. I'll call you later. You have a good day. Bye.
See you later, Ashy boy. I admit the way he puts it isn't comforting enough. He can be blunt like that. So many unknown variables, so many words left unsaid. I wish he'd simply lay them all out in the open, because like this, I'm more inclined to think there's an exaggeration on the other's part. It's from Zachary or Ashton, I don't know. In the end, all I can do is wait, go about my day and hope for the best. Before leaving, I spare Isabella's room one last glance, disturbingly quiet now without her in. I'll get answers from her later. For now, my concerns are best left here. The rest of the day slips away in a blur. Despite my best efforts in keeping this morning's event from surfacing in my mind, it sticks. In the way, everything today simply feels like a reminder. Every conversation, regardless of how casual, every topic, no matter how mundane it seems. I blame the news entirely for this. Recent happenings brought quite a few interesting stories to everyone's attention, mostly superstitious talk of death. When the locals talk about death here, anyone sure as hell can count on someone bringing up that mansion Isabella sold not a few weeks ago. Even my own students won't stop yapping about it. I think it's even worse than when it was put back up in the market. Now there are more stories. If this is the world reminding me of what matters simply because the atmosphere around this time of the year calls for it, I'd rather take the latter. At least then I can be sure people will forget about it in favor of another set of holidays after. Nevertheless, and this may be a painful thing to admit, but listening to them is a pleasant distraction. We're waiting for Ashton's call. He doesn't forget, school's day is about to end soon.
No, that's got nothing with what I heard.
Again, I hear nothing. Why? You always hear stuff. I'm not sure if half of them are even real.
No, really. Rowan knows about it. He used to be in the same class with them.
Oh my god, are these the 3 students we saw Marianne's chapter?
I can hear you from back here, you know.
Whatever, Rowan. Anyway, the story goes like this. There were 3 of them. They entered the mansion on a dare, and they were all never seen again.
Were those the 3 students on the video?
No one knows what happened to them. Up to this day. Scary shit, man.
Cock and bull story. Calling it now.
No, you don't get it. Why don't you ask Miss Gales then? Better yet, why don't you go inside the place? I'm betting my allowance you can't do it.
Their talk immediately halts when I look up, all of them suddenly pretending to be engrossed in their current activity. Still, a word to put a stopper to this nonsense is needed. Creativity and imagination fostered by these stories is one thing. Reckless ideas should be corrected before anything potentially tragic comes from it.
Back to your worksheets, everyone. And I don't want to hear any talk of dares or going inside that mansion. It's private property now. You'd all better stay away from it before...
At the noise, the whole lot of them goes silent. You can almost hear a pin drop. The look on their faces would have made for a funny picture, but that's relevant at the moment. That is a student loitering around. Someone's going to be in trouble.
I'll be back. If you're done, you can leave your worksheets on my desk. Keep the noise to a minimum while I'm gone, okay?
They can sense their eyes on me as I walk out the door. A new kind of anticipation. A bit unnerving, but it's far more agreeable than the feeling of being watched I've been enduring these past few days. Is it Ashton? Class is still in session for most of the rooms. A few hours once the final bell rings, however, this place will once again be filled with busy chatter and footfalls, and an everyday cycle in itself. For the moment, I let the silence guide me, my ears focusing on whatever sounds there are or there will be, searching for the distinct clang of metal. A good minute passes, and for the portion of it, only my steps echo through the halls. And another, about to turn around when the sound of it halts my footsteps. It's a little muffled and infrequent, but grows louder after each interval. But the hallway is devoid of people. If I don't put a stop to it soon, they'll start to disturb the other classes still going on. Looking for it doesn't take long. All I do is follow the rack, and shortly I'm standing in front of a nondescript row of unoccupied lockers. The ghost again. Of course. And from inside one of them, sitting in the middle, comes the noise, annoyingly disrupted now that I'm facing it. Like someone's pounding on the metal door from the inside, hoping to get out. Leaning forward, try to get a glimpse through the horizontal slats of whatever's causing it. But this light, only darkness greets me and another round clanging, louder than the previous one, more desperate. I've heard stories before from other schools from a few colleagues who had to deal with it once or twice. But personally, I've never encountered one myself, and I can only thank the heavens I haven't yet. But
If this is another kid some other student stuffed in a locker.
will it help us straighten up and study briefly with a frown? L.A.zy reached for its handle and once it stops, immediately replaced by the muffled sound of a mobile phone ringing. The door a few raps before taking my attention away. A second, another. Nothing or no one responds. I finally avert my eyes and pull out my mobile. Ashton's voice greets me from the other end of the line, oddly cheerful in light of this morning's matters. Maybe because I'm just expecting some grave or serious news from him. Instead, I get this.
Hey, Becca.
Well, you sound happy.
I do? My voice still sounds the same to me.
There are only two things I know what of that could be the reason for that tone. Sweet, or he's gotten a good lead in the case. From the sound of it, I'm going to assume it's the former, since lately that case is all that's running inside his head. There's even a third one that I've never heard of it yet. It can only be one of the two.
Ignore that. How's Isabella?
Drove her home a few minutes ago. I think she's sleeping now. Sorry this took a while. Z-Man gave us the puppy eyes after we tried to leave. Had some food prepared for us, apparently. We didn't have the heart to say no.
That's all right. Is she okay now?
I'm not really sure. She didn't say anything to Zach, but she mentioned a plan to take a few days off from work. It was a passing comment before I left her, so I didn't get to ask.
Must be because of Rose's death.
Could be. It doesn't seem like it from Zach's story, though. He said she was shaking when she got there.
Shaking?
The words trigger a memory. From 3 days ago, on the way home from her little treat after she sold the mansion. Didn't think much of it that time, but I won't lie, it scared me. Terrified look on her face, how she sounded when she suddenly screamed.
Becca? Still there?
Yeah, I just remembered something. Sorry, don't mind me.
Look, if you can talk to her, get the story out of her. That would be great. She wouldn't talk to Zach or me even when I tried. Maybe she'll speak up if it's you?
I'll give it a go, but I can't promise anything, okay? You know how stubborn she can get.
Definitely.
But thanks for letting me know about this. If you want, I can get you that ice cream thing you mentioned tonight. As thanks. Just as thanks for all the trouble I've caused today.
Believe me, I'd love to take you up on that offer, but I've got something on my schedule this evening. Maybe some other time? Thanks a lot, Becca.
There's a short pause before he cuts the call from his end, and once again I'm alone with my thoughts. Rather than answers, all I got from it are questions. Most of them on the top of the other, as if the world isn't planning to give me a break anytime soon. That's problem we'll tackle later. Right now I've got students who need to be taught follies of eavesdropping, and a slightly open door and the smothered laughter from inside is an indication.
All right, enough eavesdropping. All of you, back to your seats.
Is that your boyfriend, Miss Gales?
None of your business.
He totally is. A quick scuffle follows that comment. There's a retort prepared at the tip of my tongue to drop every pretense of letting it loose on them. There's no use arguing with teenagers sometimes, boisterous as they really are. Still my kids, though. Rough around the edges, maybe, but still my kids. Shaking my head, I head back to my classroom with a smile, but not before taking a glance at the locker again. Hadn't made a sound since.
Must be the wind.
So, with another look, I live alone. Whoa. Okay. We're not gonna comment on that, apparently. So, like I said, everything in that journal kind of slowly comes together. All in all, the entire school day ends without a hitch. It could have gone better, mind you. With the exams near and getting out of work before the sun is set, looks as though it's a far-off dream from now. At least until they're over, then we have the holidays to look forward to. There really are times when you simply take what you can get for the time being.
Nothing wrong with that.
All I'm hoping for is this will continue until the whole day ends. There's still that promise I made to Ashton, and frankly, the idea alone doesn't sound good. Isabella didn't talk to them. What makes them think she'll talk to me? It's not like there's a hierarchy, is there? Just because I can handle Isabella's childish tendencies doesn't mean I can do it all the time.
Really, those two give me too much credit.
Nevertheless, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, if only because I'm also worried about her. And both Zachary and Ashton deem it important that somebody get the story out of her. Here's to hoping it's got nothing to do with that letter, again. I understand that she feels a bit stressed lately, but keeping that story going on for more than a week it's bound to get a bit tiring at one point. Seriously, I really don't want this to end in another argument. God willing, the cafe special will help smooth things out. After all, it's always been food with her, or money, but mostly food. At this hour, the cafe is usually filled to the brim with people. That's the reason Isabel and I rarely go here during the evenings. It's simply too much of a hassle when we can prepare food ourselves, the comfort of our homes, and there's really isn't much reason to eat out lately, or with life going on a busy streak. No time for long lines. Better spend that doing something productive, yes?
Lucky there isn't one tonight.
Only few people are idling around the counter. 4 of them, in fact. A woman in her 60s and a teenager busy with his phone. Both are just waiting to be served their orders. Oh boy. Luke? What the hell are you doing with Kylie? The other two, a partial-looking man and a child who immediately recognizes Kylie, appear to have not yet picked anything they want. For some reason, my stare lingers at the guy. Just what is the meaning of this? They're dressed relatively well and looks harmless. I haven't seen him around these parts before. Someone new in the neighborhood, perhaps? And so there's something familiar in him. Feels like I've seen him somewhere before. Also begs the question of why Kylie is with him. Of course, the girl always easily takes a liking to anyone who buys her sweets, so it's both a bit worrisome and surprising. Blonde bloke doesn't look particularly thrilled with company, though. Tear my eyes away from them soon enough once the guy at the counter appears, ready to take my order. That, and also I hate to be accused of hoodooing strangers.
2, evening special, takeout.
He's already punching the order before I even finish. Saying order out loud is really more for formality's sake and made out of habit. He's known Isabel and I long enough that if we ever drop by here, he already knows it's always because I'm buying dinner for the two of us. I rarely visit here alone if I can help it, but Isabella can sometimes be a bad influence. He gives me a small smile before leaving to prepare my order while I fish for my wallet when...
Look, you little ankle biter. If I buy you the biggest parfait they have, will you please behave? I would just like 10 minutes of peace and quiet.
Why are you telling her to behave instead of telling her to go away? That's usually your forte, Luke.
You said you'll get me some bread pudding this time.
Yeah, well, darling, they said they ran out of it. Just pick another one so we can be on our way.
Their parfait doesn't look as cute as the one my mom bought me.
Parfait is just ice cream, sweetheart. It'll melt no matter how dainty it appears. In the end, it'll all look like an ugly puddle.
Jeez.
Now, come on, just pick one. It could even be the most expensive one on that list. I don't give a shit care. I don't care.
Them swear words, Luke. Them swear words.
Oh, what I would give for someone to buy you off my hands right now.
What? My whole attention instantly snaps back to them and their conversation. Jumping to conclusions is something I'm particularly fond of, especially when all I have are baseless assumptions. You can't really trust a stranger these days. No one around the cafe seems to have noticed his words either. Very suspicious words. Still, I don't move. Yet. And my hand has already shifted from my wallet to the book I'm carrying. A hardbound book. It looks harmless, but if the situation calls for it, might be a good deadly weapon. Might. Haven't gotten the chance to try it anywhere so far. Today could be the day.
But you promised.
Look, if you don't want a parfait, how about a Bonifay pie? I'm sure it'll taste just as good as any other bread pudding. I'll even buy you the entire tray. How does that sound?
That's not what you said before.
Well, sweetheart, adults change their minds sometimes.
Just what the hell is going on with this picture? How did they end up together?
You said if I come with you, you'll buy me a bread pudding, and I did, and now you won't keep your promise. I want to go home. I miss my mom.
No, darling, if I remember correctly, and I have a good memory, honey. What I said was, if you come quietly with me, I might buy you one.
Either Luke is gonna lose his shit or Becca is gonna lose her shit.
The quiet part didn't happen. Though now that I'm sober, I think this is a bad idea. And I should just ship you someplace else for that peace and quiet.
Oh, that's it. No hesitation. And a few paces is within my reach, and without warning, I'm slamming the flat area of the book against his skull. There's a cry of pain followed by him instantly crouching down, hands nursing the sore spot. Almost comically, if this were a different situation and the safety of a sane Goretti student is at stake, I probably feel sorry for him. Has anyone seen how thick this book is?
Get behind me, Kylie.
Miss Pink!
It's amusing how fast her expression changes from the pouty one earlier to something that utter delight upon seeing me. Oh boy, he's pissed! But there's no time for any pleasantries, not even quick ones, because soon the man straightens, I'm running my favorite newfound weapon for another hit. Except this time, he's ready, and before I can land another one, his hand shoots up to catch my wrist in a firm hold. I am not liking this scenario. Luke, calm the fuck down. And the look on his face.
Bloody hell, woman, what's your problem?
To say he's pissed would be a complete understatement. Had I been the weak-willed sort, I'd probably counter his sharp gaze. That simply isn't how I roll. If he thinks he can scare me and do as he pleases here just because I'm a woman or whatever his reasons may be, he's got another thing coming for him. So instead, I return it to him with the same intensity, with the same venom.
What's my problem? You're the one who has a problem here. Rotten bowbags like you don't deserve the freedom to run this town. What are you doing to this girl?
And why is that any of your business, pray tell?
Oh, it's my business if I make it to be. Now, release me or I'll call the police.
You think that scares me, Daisy?
I have a name, you sleazy douchebag.
Oh, I'm sure.
Jesus. I hope this doesn't escalate any further. His grip on my hand only tightens when I attempt to shake it off. His tone may be dripping with anger and sarcasm, but the gleam in his eyes say it all. He's getting a kick out of this. Riling people up, getting on their nerves, invading their personal space. Knows exactly which buttons to push. The nerve of this person. The nerve of this asshole. If he thinks I'm going to give him his goading please, he might as well just kiss his sorry behind. In fact, I want to do the most sensible thing right now. Teach him a tough lesson.
Mister, you have until the count of 5 to let me go and step out of my personal space.
A minus with Luke, oh boy. A fair warning. Fairer than I can offer for people of his kind. I'm already being considerate. Hell, this asshole doesn't even deserve a warning. He doesn't listen, and he's as much responsible for what will happen next as anyone.
Or else what? Such vulgar words coming out of that pretty mouth. A gorgeous flower like you shouldn't even be saying.
Don't say I didn't warn you, bowbag.
Love that intensity, Daisy. FYI, I like feisty in a woman. It gives them this certain charm.
Rebecca, don't stand there like letting him holding you. Hit him where it hurts, like you said.
Why don't you?
5.
Second of silence. Without any preamble, my leg moves in one fluid motion, delivers a swift, powerful, well-placed kick to his nether regions. Finally! Oh, that sorry yelp. Needless to say, the effect is instantaneous. He yelps, abruptly drops his hold on me, and kneels over, howling from the pain. I see tears forming at the corners of his eyes, too, but the mere sight of it prompts an ounce of remorse from me. I would have been gentler if he isn't such a dirty little prick with an ego too big for his head. Too bad. Whether this obliterates any chance of him even procreating remains to be known. But a part of me is already praying he doesn't even breed after this. There's no need of more of him in this world.
You mad woman!
I warned you, you ass.
Why this is harassment, I'm telling you! Harassment!
You're the one laying hands on Becca, you stupid motherfucker!
Then why don't you tell that to the police once they get here,
You despicable! Whatever you're assuming I am, I'll have you know it's all in your head. None of it's true. You best have that pretty brain of yours checked before that gets worse. What is wrong with you? Is this the face of someone who'd do anything suspicious?
Considering it's you, yeah, you would do something suspicious.
Oh? You don't think a stranger luring an innocent child with promises of sweets before whisking them away from their parents doesn't warrant any suspicion? You have a very funny definition of suspicious, asshole. Maybe you're the one who should have that head of yours checked.
The kid asked me to buy her sweets. You're the one who's suspicious here. I'll have you know, I have a wife!
That much at least appears to have a sliver of truth to it. He even makes a show of brandishing his left hand to my face with much flourish. Sure enough, a wedding ring is there, though all that earned him is an unimpressed glare from me. Immediately, a small part of me starts to feel sorry for whatever poor woman married this sod. I don't understand why he has to bring her up either, as if the mention of her alone will magically present a solution to his problem. She must truly be a remarkable woman if she can handle a dirtbag like him.
And even my wife of all people in this bloody city, has never, I'm telling you, accused me of such a scandalous thing! You crazy woman!
Wow, I've touched a nerve, didn't I?
Married or not, you're still a sleaze. Honestly, I feel...
Miss Pink, why are you fighting with my Tio?
What? Whatever words still left to be said here dies on my tongue. Same thing goes for the sleaze. Beside us stands Kylie, gawking at us with that same curious stare she often brings with her. I know that look all too well, a precocious child through and through. She doesn't say anything further, her gaze simply moves between us, eyeing us both carefully, clearly anticipating an answer. From my experience, when it gets like this with children her age, it's sure a sign they won't leave you, until giving them an answer they're satisfied with. Lying won't do either, it has dissolved into a shouting match for heaven's sake. And did she just say Tio? Something fell straight to the pit of my stomach at that. But my tone is gentle when I finally address her, void of any apprehension of what might be the first hints of embarrassment. I poignantly ignore the latter. It could very well be just a hunger speaking.
Kylie, sweetie, do you know this oath?
Yeah, he's Tio Luke.
Tio Luke? Why in the moment my brain stops. Every line of thought, every argument I still have against the man beside me dissipates in the haze. And in all of it, one memory gets triggered from a few days ago.
Tio? The one you mentioned before? The uncle? The guy Rowan wanted to impress? Or was that a dare? I'm sorry, I can't recall. Is it the one who promised he'll take Big Brother someplace cool?
Yeah, the one and the same. Don't you know who he is?
I sure as hell don't, darling. Because if I do, I wouldn't have let everything I've said earlier come out of my mouth.
He's my Tio Luke. Gazillionaire extraordinaire, am I? No, the fairy godfather.
What? Excuse me, what? What? How did that come to be? Godfather? Really? What? Oh boy, what?
He's your godfather. That's...
Shocking! Still, I'm not sorry for what I did to you, you stupid fuck.
That's nice.
The one and only. Did I get that right, Tio?
More than right, sweetheart. I'm sure Miss Pink here understood everything you said quite perfectly.
Whatever it is that landed at the bottom of my stomach prior, shot straight up to my face and stayed there. Heat from it slowly sprang to my cheeks, coloring my face in almost the same shade as my hair. If only the earth will swallow me whole here and now. His eyes are on me, I can feel them jeering, mocking. I can't even bring myself to look at him. What's in there? Amusement? I doubt it. He's probably having the time of his life right now. But I know, I can hear the sneer in his tone alone when he talks. He has that smug grin on him, which I may or may not want to punch off his face at present just for the hell of it, but damage control. You do some damage control before this thing goes south. I'm not apologizing to Luke. Kylie, you suffered the most, so. Minus again! We are not gonna be friends with Luke after this. Of course, an apology is the most appropriate thing to say, but no matter how much I will myself to do it, my own body refuses to budge, my own mouth refuses to open, and my head rejects the very idea of looking at him. No apology for an asshole. Not someone with an ego too big for his head. Let his pride suffer, and I'm not going to eat my words for the sake of stroking his damn ego. Less reason for him to gloat. Kylie, however, I own explanation.
Don't worry, Kylie. I'm not fighting with your Tio.
Well, beside kicking him in the nuts, so.
This is just a discussion. A very serious discussion between a very mature adult and one that's not.
Really? But I've never seen Tio angry before.
It's because he's losing the argument. But don't ever follow his example, Kylie. You should always learn to be patient, even if things aren't going your way, okay?
Oh sure, a discussion. and it involves hitting random strangers you meet at a cafe with a book. A hardbound book. Mind you, the little me hasn't recovered yet. If my future generation never survives from this, we are going to have more than words, woman!
I don't allow Kalia hears tirades cover both of her ears with my hands. As fond as she is of the man, there are words he shouldn't be saying in front of a child. How can he not know about that? More importantly, how on earth did someone like him become a godfather? Who allowed it? That's what I really want to know. How did that come to be? Maybe I should talk to Miss Suarez about it. Warn her that he's not a good influence for her children.
Language! How can you use such crude words in front of her? Your goddaughter can hear you, for heaven's sake.
Oh, and you didn't. If I remember everything correctly, you called me a rotten bow.
So you're going to repeat it in front of her, just to make a point? What, are you 5? Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
She's letting him have it. Even Isabella, I could say that with much certainty.
Even 5-year-olds are more sensible than you.
See what I mean?
Are you fighting again?
Oh, no, no, no. Like I said, we were just having a discussion. We're actually done now. But you need to promise Miss Pink you will never grow up like this guy. Good kids don't do what he's doing.
But I like Tio.
Your likeness are misplaced, my little dear.
And I'm quite sure Tio likes you too. But liking people is different. Just because you like him doesn't mean you have to be like him.
You know, now that I think about it, she's the goddaughter of Luke. Kinda makes sense. And the way I remember it, the ghost kinda haunts anyone that comes into the mansion. She haunted Hannah earlier, and maybe through Luke she's haunting Kylie as well. She's probably haunting his whole, bloodline, if we can interpret it that way. So that's why Kylie had the face of the ghost a while ago.
There are better role models for you aside from him.
Like you?
Not exactly what I'm trying to get at, but if that's what you want, I don't see why not.
Okay, I want to be like Miss Pink someday. I want to be a teacher, and I promise I won't be like Tio, even if he's a gazillionaire.
Wow, turning my own goddaughter against me. How mature of you, Miss Pink.
His tone makes me pause. The first time since this talk started, I look at him. Briefly, something flashes behind his eyes, something close to what might be an expectation. Expectation falling? Dismay? Can't be sure. It passes almost as soon as it appears. What's that about? Does he actually like having Kylie around? It doesn't seem like it from the get-go. If that fond smile on him is anything to judge by, then maybe.
Don't worry, Tio. If you buy me bread pudding tonight, I'll like you again.
Aw, if that's all it takes, consider it done, sweetheart. We might have to find another place to buy it from, though. Somewhere safe, where a random crazy woman isn't going to attack us out of the blue. Let's go.
Okay. Bye, Miss Pink. I still like you, just not more than Tio anymore. See you.
Aww. Kylie's already pulling him back to the cafe's exit before it can protest on, although it's not like there's anything to object on further. I may view that man, Luke, as someone hateful, maybe to the point of seeing him as an eyesore, but I don't think they'll have any bearing on what the child thinks of him. When you think about it, if she admires him so much like that, maybe there's still something agreeable in him. Part of him only Kylie sees. Still has the gall to wink at me before they both disappear behind the door, so maybe not, but there's no moment to ponder about it. Seconds later, the guy at the counter waves me over and hands me a paper bag as soon as I've paid. He offers me another smile before I leave. Normally I return it simply for the sake of returning it, or I don't at all, and the latter happening more commonly. For the time being, I do so freely. After that encounter at the scene caused, seeing a friendly gesture being extended to me, albeit from a person I barely know on a personal level, it feels like a reassurance, despite bearing no promise of better days. I take what little I can of it with me as I step out into the night. Let's see what we got updated. Worried about her friend's behavior, Rebecca informed Ashton about Isabella's disappearance. It turned out that she spent the night at Zachary's. Ashton's offered to pick her up. Rebecca went to school, and after a strange encounter in the hallway. Oh, what? Spelling. One student lockers. Wait, can we read the rest of it? No, it doesn't look like it. What do we got new anyway? Whoa, wait. While lining up to buy dinner, Rebecca saw Kyle Suarez with a suspicious man. Assuming it was a kidnapping, Rebecca elected to take the matters in her own hands. Only to find out that the man was the girl's godfather, Luke Wright. Embarrassed, Rebecca apologized afterwards. Hey, better to be safe than sorry. Cloudless night sky greets me when I walk out of the cafe. Beyond the tall buildings, a blanket of stars spreads out before me. Isabella once told me that the best place to view is someplace outside the city, away from the noise and the obtrusive lights. She'd seen it once in her mom's hometown, another time in the university she used to attend, and she asked if it's possible to try it out here sometime. I agreed with her at the time, if only she appeared excited at the mere prospect of it. Made those little plans along with Zachary and Ashton. Up until now, we never got around to it. Even so, I found myself enjoying this, despite being told it's only half the experience. Little things, you know, stuff you learn when you appreciate it when you're alone. What does the branching tree show us? Okay, so we followed the upper path. We missed a lot, actually. We're still a long ways ahead, though. I mean, long ways to the end, though. There were 3 choices in total. So far, we completed 4%. Because at certain times, you get to meet people who are unfortunately born with the innate talent to ruin the mood and the scene with their mere existence alone. For example, the very driver of the car fast approaching my direction. Luckily, he doesn't notice me. The fleeting moment we pass each other by gives me a brief glance at the people he's with. Oh boy. The ghost again. I see her in the back. Shit. Kylie's sitting on the back seat with a serving of bread pudding in her hands. Beside him, must be his wife. Takes a turn disappears in the nearest corner. Throughout the night, the cursory glimpse of all things to bother me has left me wondering what kind of person his wife is. More than that, it's a silent prayer to the universe. Hope I don't ever cross paths with that douche again. After having such an eventful day, anyone would think nothing will surprise me anymore. Here I am, standing at the top of the stairwell, watching the odd scene unfold before me. Relief crosses my mind, followed by confusion.
What is she doing there?
Although given what happened this morning, the question feels a bit inappropriate to ask directly. What's important is Isabella's here. She's sitting cross-legged on the hallway, just right in front of her room, with several papers and folders scattered about. Each of them seems as important as the next. More than once, upon giving the scene a quick scan, I spotted Bray Realty's logo at the top, almost staring at the pages. Everything considered, looks like a mess made by a third grader walking on crunch time. Landlady will have a few things to say about this when she finds out. I have a few things to say about myself, in fact. Something in the calm, focused manner she holds herself at present keeps me from disturbing her without reminder. She's going through each paper with this intensity. Her brows are furrowed, lips are in tight line, both hands moving with precise movements as she shifts through each sheet. When she finds something of note, she moves closer, her nose almost touching whatever paper she's holding, grabs her phone to call someone.
Hello. Sorry to call you this late. There's something I just want to confirm, if that's okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks anyway. Not that one either.
It's a cycle. She goes through call after call, and after the last one ends, shuffles through the file again and dials another number. Does it work? I've never seen her this engrossed with her own work before, otherwise she would have noticed my presence the moment I reached our floor. After the night call, she still appears as oblivious to us when I have arrived. She lets out a loud sigh this time. I immediately take that as an opportunity to interrupt.
Isabella, you know the house rules here.
Oh boy, she's startled. And once her head jerks back and hits the concrete wall behind her with a thumb. There's the Isabella I know. Glad still there. Allow her a moment to nurse it before speaking again.
Becca, you're late.
Yeah, I ran into a little trouble at the cafe. But I brought food for the 2 of us, if you haven't eaten anything yet.
As anticipated, she grins once I raise the bag of food I'm holding. Yet it doesn't reach her eyes. There's nothing of the cheerful glint in it this time. Just a hollow tone for the sake of being polite. Ashton's right. Something's happened.
Yeah, maybe later. I've got to finish this first. Just leave it here. I'll eat it once I'm done. Thanks, Becca.
You can't eat this here. You know how the landlady would react. Why are you even working outside? Your room's right there.
I know. Sorry. It just feels stuffy in my apartment right now. I'll go back inside once everything's been aired out. I promise.
That has never bothered you before.
Well, it bothers me now.
Oh, really? Just now? I find that hard to
Bella,
believe.
you're bad at lying.
Yeah? Shouldn't you be happy? I mean, you've been complaining even if it's not your room. Now I know how you're feeling when it's messy, so I'm going to clean. Isn't that a good thing?
Despite what's supposed to be a good news, an exhale comes from me, drawn out and slow.
It's a good thing, Isabella. Believe me. But you're as bad as Zachary at lying. What's really going on?
She hastily averts her eyes, a surefire indicator this is going to be one of those lengthy conversations that can possibly make the other person angry. Again, it's one thing I like to avoid tonight at all costs. Still, I made a promise to Ashton and Zachary. If she didn't talk to them, who else is going to talk to? If she keeps this all to herself, who knows what might happen?
Isabella, you can tell me. Is it about your family?
Slight movement of her lips, although a frown is its reaction at least. I'm getting there.
Rose?
She merely shakes her head. Just a little more.
Come on, I know something happened. I don't know if it's because of Rose, but I know it's related to her somehow. You weren't here when I visited this morning, and both Zachary and Ashton are worried about you. If you don't want to tell them, you can tell me. Does it have something to do with work? Office?
If I didn't know her, I might have missed it. She shifts then, her fists clenching tight and teeth biting her lower lip. And there's fear. Oh yeah, I see that in her eyes already. Look of terror in her is the last thing I expected to see out of everything. Her mouth trembles briefly before she opens them. When she finally voices it out, the words simply spill out of her mouth. One after another. All of it. True to what I promised her, I listened. Because this is something she's been keeping to herself, even from the two most dependable people I know. The fact she chooses to tell me this speaks a lot to me.
Becca, she was there again. Last night? In the office? Boss passed me all of Rose's lurk load yesterday. For the Ermengarde mansion. I had to stay late to finish them.
Oh yeah, the office encounter that you had at the end of your chapter. It's a good thing you escaped after a few failed tries.
And then, when I was about to go home, I saw
If I remember, really slowly twirling her head backwards in that really ghastly smile. Jesus.
I saw her again! She was standing in front of me again last night, Becca.
And I believe you, because we've been through that.
I couldn't get away. She was blocking the door. If I hadn't hidden myself, even if I made the tiniest noise, if she found me, Becca, she almost did. If she saw me under my table, I think that would have been the end of it. I'm scared. I'm so scared I won't be able to do anything.
By the end, her hands are trembling and her breathing comes out in rasping intervals. For a long moment, let the silence stretch out between us, let her sobs fill instead. But even as her soft whimpers die down minutes later, there's a heaviness hanging in the air, not just from her, but also from me. From my exasperation over this whole matter, from my own frustrations over her stupid superstitions when she could do us all a favor and grow a backbone. Becca, you saw that ghost already, and she almost caused you to crash, and you're telling someone to grow a backbone in the face of something so scary. She may be young, but she's no longer that young. It's about time to put an end to this. She can't keep going on like this. She's still got plenty of years to live out. And when she goes home, what if we're no longer there to keep her fears in line with what's real? What will she do then? I'm more afraid for her, for what kind of imagination will do to her than if some imaginary monster could. With the manner she's looking at me right now, isn't this an expectation in it, a hope and plea soon together? She wants me to believe her this time. It's like that, what am I supposed to say now? Is this why you didn't go home last night? We have a plus with Isabella. We should be, because protect this little marshmallow at all costs. Even though she makes scary faces when she's angry. As much as I want to set her straight, a reprimand isn't what she needs right now. That pouty face she's giving me, at that level, it'll even end well if I push it. I know her. She wants to be stubborn, she's stubborn. But there are moments when she can be acquisitive too. Times when she'll be more accepting of what I tell her, despite her inclination to disagree with it. And that talk can wait. Anytime I'll be the ear that listens to her without judging her, without criticizing her, despite my own opinions on it.
You should have called me.
She stares at me like I've grown another head, and a laughter slips out before I can stop myself.
There? I can't do that! What will you do? Hit her with a book? You'll be dead before that happens. And
That isn't what I'm talking about. After you got out, you should have phoned me. You didn't have to go to Zachary's.
The corners of her mouth curl up, a sheepish smile by general definition, but this is Isabella. Her smiles are never half-hearted, never lacks her high spirits. In spite of this, I know everything is going to be okay. Somehow. After all, she's learned how to pick herself up long ago, long before we met.
oh, yeah. Sorry. I don't even remember how I ended up in Zach's place. I was in a hurry to get out of the office, and it was already late. Besides, I don't really think you'll believe me if I wake you up over something like that.
That's beside the point. True or not, there are people who will always be concerned about you. There's Zachary, but he's the first person you went to, and you didn't tell him anything. You just slept there. There's Ashton too, and me. But how do you think I'll be able to explain to your aunt or your family if you suddenly disappeared? Think about that.
Right. I'll remember that next time.
Then she grins. Playful and mischievous, preamble to an old banter. It's still not quite there, it's not quite her usual self, but with it, we're bound to get her back soon.
Mom.
I told you not to call me that.
Send an elbow to her side for added measure, but when laughter follows the familiar gesture, none of it is unexpected. This is what's comfortable, this is how we found an equal ground despite our stark differences. So for the moment I accept things as they are. Afterwards the hush stretches out before us. For Isabella this is rare, this isn't her. In this moment, as she fiddles with the edge of another paper near her, as she hugs her knees close to herself and lets pensive expression linger on her, I feel strangely fitting. As if this is where everything's supposed to lead to it if we allow it long ago. Seconds later, the moment is broken by the sound of a door easily open. A voice beckons a little peace.
How many times have I told you girls not to loiter around the hallway? It's noisy. Some people here are trying to sleep. Quiet down or go do your talking inside. I'm pinning a memo to your door the next time this happens. Millennials.
Sorry. We won't do it again.
You'd better.
The door closes and Isabel starts gathering the mess she's made, carefully stacking them all in her arm. At a loss for what to do, I help her pick them, and for the first time I get a closer look at it. Completely unintentional, of course. It catches my attention nevertheless, and the confused frown makes its way to my face. Why is she looking through this? I look to her for an explanation, but she merely ignores the question in my eyes, takes the paper off my hands and finishes cleaning up. The last paper she puts on top is a letter. The one that she supposedly found in the mansion was probably the root cause of this odd behavior. Sure, questioning look for that too. What she gives me is a smile. And the halting tone is so completely on her.
Becca, I'll find a way out of this. You guys don't have to worry about me. Anyways, I should go. I'll see you later.
Where are you going?
Getting myself some food. Don't wait for me.
Isabella walks away before I can stop her, before I can remind her brought food enough for the two of us. She quickly disappears down the stairwell while I'm left standing in an empty hallway with the 2 bags of takeout. One of them will go uneaten tonight. Just an instant passing thought. One that I don't dwell on much as I head back to my room. I ignore all of it, in the same way I assume I won't ever encounter that douche again. October 27th. We're back at school. The brief lull the past few days has offered is nice while it lasted, or as nice as it could get, with worries of Isabel's whereabouts creeping up to me every now and then. She hasn't showed up at the last talk we had in the hallway, and the dinner I bought had since been given to a different neighbor before it spoils. By all means, there shouldn't be anything to lose sleep over. She's gone on work trips before, usually for a day or two. This might simply be one of those, though it's often with a message saying exactly where. But the dour note is that she has ended her last chat with Nas.
Like an ugly premonition.
And as expected, just as things start to settle and the steady rhythm finally wends its way back to my routine, Thursday morning brings further disturbance in the now calm waiters. No ceremony was still enough to ripple through everything. In retrospect, as I really should have seen this coming. Luxembourg is a small city, relatively speaking, compared to, say, London or Glasgow. It's nothing but a tiny mass of land boasting a mere population of 68,000. Those numbers alone are nothing to scoff at when standing in a busy street. And if you pay close enough attention, faces taking the crosswalk or riding the subway will soon grow familiar. Now, unfortunately, out of that number, it has to be Teo fucking Luke I encountered more than once.
Oh, you know,
You-
a few problems popping up here and there that the agents failed to tell us somehow.
You again.
Nothing a few hired hands can't fix, of course. I would have preferred a place near the city and something that's new to save us all the trouble, but darling wife insisted. Who am I to say no?
Ah, are you kidding me?
Mrs. Mughead is the first thing I see upon turning into the hall, despite the small crowd of parents and students gathered at the corridor of the primary's career day. It's not that he stands out, he's pretty unremarkable at first glance, frankly. However, it's his countenance that draws people's eyes to him. The manner he carries himself with all the confidence in the world, his mere presence dwarfing everything around him. I'm willing to make a bet he's also enjoying the attention it garners him, especially the ones coming from the women.
What an ass.
A single glance at him and I know immediately that one way or another, if we ever bump into each other again, my day will effectively be ruined in some capacity. He also exudes that air. That sort makes you want to run him over with a lorry and pass it off as an unfortunate accident. With him, it's either you want to punch him or let yourself be charmed. There's no in between. I'll gladly do the honor of performing myself, but alas, there are people around us. Now I'm stuck with having to face one of the two.
I shouldn't have volunteered.
At the time, helping out sounded a good idea. I have no classes left today until lunch. I could have opted to stay in the teacher's lounge and work on my lesson plans, but that means being left alone with our deputy head and his chatter. He's a good man, but crivens, he can talk anyone's ears off. So the moment the opportunity arose, I jumped on it. It's a simple task to do. Just deliver a whole box of materials and a few posters for the event. Maybe stay around to assist if time will allow it. Just wasn't expecting him to show up here. Have a frying pan into the fire. Had I known, I would have stayed and suffered through the deputy's impromptu speeches about his life crisis instead. But what's done is done. Going back is also out of the question. How unexpectedly heavy the load I'm carrying is, I hate to lug this for a trip back just because my pride can take another second of interaction with the guy. He's insufferable, alright, but I've had my fair share of dealings with teens of more or less the same temperament, all considerably younger than him, and they listen. If he wants to be difficult like last time, so be it. But he can bet his sorry English ass I'm not standing down. Left with no other choice, I braced myself and stuck in a breath, mustering every bit of patience I have as I step into the hall. My grip on the box tightens when I pull it closer to me, an attempt to assume a low-key air as I amble across the room. The box is not big enough to hide my face, even with the stuff piled on top. If all else fails, I can just hit him with it. Still, a small prayer forms in my head. If there's even one listening out there, please grant me enough restraint. Better yet, I hope he doesn't notice me at all. That'll definitely make my life easier. Seriously, how hard can it be? Standing a few ways from the door and there are plenty of people between us to use for cover. If I'm careful, I can just go in, hand in the stupid box to whoever's in charge, forget every plan of staying longer than necessary, step out as soon as I can. Easy as pie. But as luck would have it, the exact moment I reach the room's threshold, someone barrels towards me. She lashes onto my waist before topping the sudden commotion with a gleeful squeal.
I knew it's you!
The force of it nearly throws me off balance, sending the items stacked on top of the box, tilting dangerously to the sides. The child's added weight on my waist being me on the spot, and both of my hands occupied. Watching is the only thing I'm able to do. Short seconds in between slows as everything gradually slides off the box to a small surface. Under different circumstances, would have made for a funny story some of the time, comical even. As another set of hands reaches out and steadies the posters threatening to take a nosedive right to the floor. Careful now, Daisy, don't make a mess here. My entire body freezes. On hearing his voice alone, an irrational impulse to hit him immediately bubbles up. Before my limbs could catch up with what my brain is currently screaming at me, I notice to take the burden off my arms. Irritation gives way to surprise, then confusion. It isn't In that moment, when instinct finally kicks in, I tug the box closer to me before I can fully lift it off.
What are you doing?
What does it look like? You're surprisingly slow on the uptake for someone of your profession, aren't you? Bloody, doesn't this school have people for this kind of work? So much for being a center of academic excellence.
I'm going to ignore that slight to my alma mater and my work, because that's not what I'm trying to get at. You know what? Why don't we just rephrase that to something you'll easily understand? Why exactly are you doing this?
Well, you look like you could use a bit of help. Have you seen your face while you were heaving this around?
Mister, I'm pretty sure if there's ever a look on my face, it's entirely because I saw something extremely unpleasant this morning.
Aren't you a ball of sunshine today, Daisy? Having a bad day, aren't we?
It's always a bad day whenever we see your face, Luke.
Oh, you have no idea.
I'd put it away if I were you. You might scare the children.
You don't have to worry about that. This isn't my department. I was just asked to bring these. Anyway, I can handle this myself, mister. The room's just right over there. Behind you, in fact. Now, if you could please move over and make way, it would do the whole world some good.
Keeping my voice level throughout is a miracle in itself, but regardless of how polite my request is, he doesn't budge. So what I've just seen nearly fly over his head. One of my choice of words really that difficult to comprehend. Surely shouldn't be that hard. He might be a little touched in the head. I'd like to ask him that actually, but Kylie chooses that instant to pipe in.
Don't worry, Miss Pink. Tio's strong. You can leave this to him. My papa does it lots of times, but I'm not allowed to talk about it to anyone. Tio says it's
Confidential, Munchkin.
That's right. Tio's smart, isn't he, Miss Pink?
I'm still of the opinion that he's a piece of shite, but I must admit his goddaughter's excitement is contagious as always. A smile makes its way to my lips. She has yet to budge from her place, though to be honest, I'm starting to lose some feeling on my stomach with how tightly she wound her arms around it.
I'm sure he is, Kylie. But I'm also sure he'll find better use for it elsewhere.
Like helping you out.
Oh, well, that's one thing, but
You heard the kid.
no one's asking you.
Oh, you wound me, woman.
And I'm quite certain I can do more damage than that. Shall we give it a try? Again?
He doesn't want to experience that again. He pales, stammers for a bit until he ultimately decides against saying anything and settles for a brief show of discomfort instead. He's probably having flashbacks to the last time we met. His composure when he finally regains some of his bearings says it all. Something short of hilarious if I do say so myself.
I'll have you know that threats never work on me, Daisy. Not in a million years, not ever.
You're assuming it's a threat. How cute.
That too. I'm not scared of you, just because you landed a hit.
Do go on. Keep telling yourself that.
It was a fluke, you hear? I was caught off guard and your damn book left a dent. If I end up in a hospital because of what you did, I'm sending the chief of Luxburn Police after you, woman.
You don't say.
Just give me that bloody box.
Snatches it out of my arms before a single word of protest, exits my mouth and quickly disappears behind the classroom. Not that it matters who brings it now. My prior irritation is already melted into amusement. It's not so bad once you figure out how his temperament works. It's almost similar to a child. I still have to ask.
Kylie, did your Tio eat something bad before coming here? He's unusually nice today.
A far-fetched idea, I know, but it's the only reason I can think of why this asshole is suddenly acting like a decent human. He's quite frankly far from being. First and foremost, we didn't end our last meeting on a good note. If I were him, I'd avoid the very person who put a dent on his skull, as he so aptly put it. Why is he acting friendly 2 days later?
He always is. But I made him promise to be extra nice to you since you helped me so much. I think you're gonna be great friends.
I wouldn't bet on it. Quickly stomp on the urge to groan loudly or gag at that. He's the last person I ever want to be chummy with in this whole city. But Kylie doesn't seem to know that.
Are you sure it's not something he ate during breakfast?
I gave him some jelly babies this morning. Really brought me lots of them. Mama said I should share, so I offered half of it to Tio when he picked me up. He likes the black ones.
Oh, that's probably why he's weird. Jelly baby overdose.
Could have done everyone a favor and choked on them while he's at it.
Do you want some? I've got more. I couldn't find Melody or Takako this morning, but I'm sure they'll be fine sharing some of it with you.
No, I'm not really very fond of them. I was just asking. Oh, where's your mum, by the way?
Out of town with Papa.
An unexpected pang hits me at her words. A statement though innocent enough unearths a whole trunk of memories from childhood, so eerily familiar. Nights spent eating dinners alone, the number of days coming home to an empty house growing with each passing year, sometimes several Christmas Eves spent with relatives instead of my own family. It's too late to think about it now, but when I remember, the dull ache is still there, familiar though lessened by the years now. Beside me, Kalia takes a step back, like you haven't gotten tired of clinging to me. There's nothing but cheer in her. She doesn't seem too affected by the fact. Although it makes me wonder how much of it is real, how much is there to mask the loneliness if there's even one. What a lucky child.
Weren't they informed of career day beforehand?
Yeah, I told them all about it. Mama was looking forward to it.
And they still left?
Uh-huh. It's important business, so it can't be helped. They promised to tell me about it when they come back tomorrow, though. Papa said he'll give me a gift if I behave. I've been a good girl, right, Miss Pink?
You always are. But they asked that douche, they asked your Tio to look after you? For this?
Nope, they didn't.
No? Then how?
It was supposed to be Tia. Mama likes her better than Tio, so she asked her, but she's sick and had to visit the doctor today.
Tia, I'm guessing that's Hannah right then.
Oh, that's supposed to be a secret, by the way. Oh, but I think it's a bit confusing because Tio said she also went shopping. That's unfair. Don't you think so, Miss Pink? Mama doesn't allow me to go out when I'm sick. It's still okay, though, since Tio always buys me sweets before we go home. I'm gonna ask for a parfait today. Extra large. Don't tell Takako, okay?
Listening to her like this, it's easy to get a picture where Kalia's fondness for the guy comes from. She's far from a demanding child unless he made a promise of some sort. She never forgets those. She'll make friends with anyone or wherever she is. But buy her a few things and voila, you're settled. No wonder she's so attached to the man. The douche probably showers her with gifts whenever he can. Can't say the sentiment's the same for the latter, however. Doesn't seem to be the type, and probably just does it for the sake of getting some peace and quiet whenever he's with the girl. Classic techniques.
But before that, I'm gonna show him to everyone first. It's gonna be great. No one else has a gazillionaire fairy godfather. Also, when I grow up, I'm gonna be exactly like him and marry someone really handsome.
Please don't be like him. Please don't. Because Luke is a whole different type of fruitcake that you don't want to be when you grow up.
Like Tia did. That way, I can be awesome too.
Some sort of misguided logic in there that I'd like to correct. Before I can say my piece, douchebag steps in, fresh out of the commotion from the classroom behind us, and plows into the conversation with every subtlety a wrecking ball has. No shite given despite no one asking for his opinion.
Munchkin, sweetie, trust me. You don't have to marry someone for that to happen.
I don't?
Just do your thing, darling. I'm quite sure you can do great things on your own without lugging around an extra baggage with you.
Tia married you.
Kylie drops the statement without any sort of preface at the moment it lands. Yush finds himself grappling with the conversation.
Yeah, well, that's true, Munchkin, technically. But it's not the same thing.
A small frown increases the girl's eyebrows as she tries to comprehend her Tio's rather vague explanation. It's not surprising either when Luke tenses under the child's questioning gaze. It's familiar. I've seen the same look a great deal of times before, on Ashton whenever he's trying to say something he can't quite phrase. Another second passes before the douche moves, kneeling in front of Kylie and placing both his hands on either sides of her shoulder. Kind is the last word I'll ever use to describe the man, but in this minute, there's a smile on his face that came place. Tender by all means for someone as obnoxious as him. It's a curious thing to see, if not a bit odd.
Listen here, sweetie. Tia was already a great person before she met me.
She is? But I don't see her doing anything. She's always at home.
Not always, Munchkin. Did you know she's really good at numbers?
You're good with them too. You helped me with my homework once.
Well, Tia's much better than me. She used to do maths with big numbers.
Oh, like millions?
No, gazillions. And she's really good at it. So much so that her dad let her manage anything that had to do with it. That was even before she met me, too.
Does that mean think she's better than you?
Oh, leagues, Munchkin. Way, way better than I'll ever be.
At least he can admit that, I'll give him that. For some reason, I don't think he's still talking about his wife's mathematical prowess, his voice trails off. In fact, if I hadn't not been paying closer attention, I would have noticed the change in him. A slight shift in his smile, from one that's tended to something wistful, a remembering memory he's always been fond of, and has often kept to himself. And that fleeting glance of it, a tiny insignificant part of the world somehow also shifts. Opinions changing, impressions moving.
You know what? Why don't you ask Tia next time you have homework,
Okay, next time I'll ask her to help out.
See? No need to marry a good-for-nothing bloke.
Can I also tell her to not stay at home anymore? If Tia's good at it, I'm sure she can help you out too. And Papa. He computes a lot of numbers too. Tia can help him.
You go do that. I'm sure she'll love to hear it, Munchkin, even if it's been a while since.
Another silence from him, and without missing a beat, he turns Kylie around, lightly pats her shoulder, gestures to end their conversation right here and there. Probably before he can say the things he's never intended to say, or a child is not meant to hear.
But off you go first. I think I saw your friend run off to the other classroom. The one with the pigtails? Go say hi to her. You still have those jelly babies to give her, yes?
All right, but wait for me, okay? I've got loads more to show you. They put up my drawing on the bulletin the other day. I'm gonna take you there later. I'll be back.
Oh boy, she soon disappears behind the small crowd, none the wiser of the sudden changing mood around her. Luke straightens as soon as she's gone. The expression on his face grows less kind now that there's no one to reassure. Despite that, a chuckle still escapes me. Zed quickly snaps at me, the accusing glare clear in his eyes. Though it's less threatening now, considering what I witnessed earlier. Funny how one person's impression of someone can easily change without many detail.
Why are you laughing like that?
Don't mind me. I just saw something surprising today. Don't let it bother you.
Putting it like that won't make me any less inclined to ask. What is it, woman? If this is another one of your threats, I've already told you it isn't going to work on me. That good teacher act isn't going to fool anyone.
What makes you think it has to do with you? I could have just remembered something funny. Not everything in this world revolves around you, mister.
I am not daft, Daisy. It's on your face for all the world to see. Now, say it so we can be done with this stupid talk.
I let out another laugh, more delayed than to express any sort of amusement over the matter. In truth, I don't know where to start. One wrong move, one wrong word, and I might offend the man. He's childish enough for that, even if what I'm about to say is just mere honest observations. And we finally get a plus with Luke after all those encounters. Oh well, regardless of how he reacts, it's not like it'll have an impact on anything between us. I have no plans on getting too friendly with the man, though he might have some good points. Emphasis on might. The best treatment I can hold myself to give him is to stop thinking him as a sleazy douche. Besides, after seeing that look on him, I figure someone like him can use a little compliment here and there. Probably doesn't get much considering how coarse his own language can get.
Can't you act a wee bit polite for even a second of your life? It won't kill you. You'll easily get answers that way, you know? Instead of demanding things from people like a temperamental man-child.
I'll be nice when I want to be, woman. Don't tell me what to do.
And here I was just thinking how you're doing a brilliant job as Kylie's guardian. Was I mistaken?
Was I mistaken? What? Sorry, I didn't catch that.
Stop playing dumb. I hate to admit it, but you actually seem to be good with kids. Possibly even better than most of the teachers here. What do you know?
I expected him to just take it all in, bloat his ego more, and even brag about it. Instead, what I get from him is a sound resembling a squawk. Or maybe that's him choking on his own pride? Can't tell about the hubbub surrounding us. But when I glance at him, only a mortified expression is on his face.
No.
No? You should be proud of yourself. At least there's this one good thing about you. Isn't that nice to hear? Pretty sure not a lot of compliments get thrown around about you, knowing how you are.
There are a lot of good things about me, Daisy. My hair, for one. There's also my extraordinary good looks. Wax lyrical about those all you want. I'd be happy to hear it any day.
You egotistical little prick.
Praise anything about me but that.
What is so repulsive about it? Even Kylie likes you. Shouldn't that tell you anything about yourself?
Kylie is one kid, not even my own. Trust me, you do not want to see me bring a spawn of my own into this world. It'll be an abomination.
Is that what you keep telling yourself?
Maybe. Is it any of your business?
No. But if I didn't know any better, I'd say this is because you yourself think you're a little piece of shite and somehow it'll pass on. It doesn't work like that, by the way.
Last remark just came out. Might be a sliver of truth in it, but I shouldn't have phrased it like that. Even for my own standards of the kind of person I'm talking to, it's still quite rude. Apologies already at my throat, but the minute I opened my mouth, how I prepared myself, the state dissipates, lost in the moment in front of me. I turned his gaze outside, staring at some point past the buildings, blocking the view of the sky, equally lost in his thoughts. He's a vexing man under so many standards. However, in this moment, morning light streaming from the window lends his features a certain air, softer, less severe than the one he flaunts. Might as well be looking at a different man. There's a tender note in his voice where he finds it, the words muttered under his breath not intended for anyone but himself. Nevertheless, it reaches my ears, intentional as it may be.
You're right. She deserves someone far better than me.
All that talk about self-worth makes some sense now. It isn't some profound knowledge he pulled out of his ass. It has come about because he's already been there, likely stuck in the middle of it. Preaching about your own personal experience is easier, after all. Less room for mistakes, more of a dose of self-loathing. What a complicated man. Just when you thought you had already figured him out, he does one thing and says the other. People like him are most difficult to gauge, far harder to understand. It might be exactly for this reason why some are so easily charmed by him. It's the mystery that catches them, and wanting to find out what underneath that bravado. I won't count myself among those. His whining personality isn't exactly my cup of tea. Sometimes once you get a glimpse of what's beyond that machismo, emphasizing that the man isn't such a steep hill to climb. If the comfortable silence we now share tells anything, that is. Perhaps this is as close to friendship as we can get. Several insults flung around, with a few short silences in between, and it's not exactly a bad thing. He's not exactly a bad guy either, despite the awkward start we had. Maybe it's for this reason that I can't resist throwing in a little comment to lift his mood before leaving him.
You know, Luke, you're not such a bad person.
Is that supposed to make me feel better? I'm touched, Daisy.
Take it how you will, but a little attitude change would help. A lot.
Oh, bollocks. Right, of course. Let me know when you're done with your lecture, ma'am.
And you can probably start by not leaving your wife out while you're having some quality time with your goddaughter. Who knows? Maybe that'll help change how the child sees her.
Where did you even get the idea I'm leaving my wife out? Have you ever even met?
No, but I did see her with you two last time.
His indifferent expression quickly dissolved into a confused scowl, while I meet it with matching perplexity. It's only been 2 days. Surely his memory isn't that bad.
What? When was this?
At the cafe, after you left. She was sitting right beside you. Kylie was at the back and you were driving.
Daisy, are you sure you haven't accidentally hit yourself with your own book? Because that damn thing's quite big, and I'm really getting worried about you. It has only been a few days, and concussions can be dangerous. I suggest you have that checked.
What an ass.
Well, you asked. I just answered. It's pretty rude to make her wait like that, by the way.
How can I make her wait when she's not even with us?
What?
It was just Kylie and I that night.
Now you're just pulling my leg.
So she did see the ghost in the driver's seat. Luke exhales long and drawn out, his impatience rapidly changing the companionable air around us. In the face of it, I tense. I've accidentally stepped into another minefield. The chant I've had with him so far has been like this. Why this still surprises me escapes me, but above my worries of offending the man, it's my own bewilderment. I remember well enough what I saw that night. He says something completely different.
Wifey was out with Kylie's mummy that night. She wasn't with us. How do you think I ended up on babysitting duty?
But in the front seat. And Kylie's...
Miss B!
What? Kylie's sobs reach my ears fast, and then her familiar weight returns around my waist again. Her hot tears seep down my blouse as she buries her face in it, her arms winding tightly around me. Luke and I briefly exchanged worried glances, his own lips shut tight with concern. Her cries are soft enough to not attract much attention. Most of the visitors have been ushered inside the rooms by now anyway. Those that still linger, though, watch our little group with great interest and concern. Don't get a better handle of the situation, I have a feeling Luke will start yelling at everyone soon. Kneeling gently pulled the girl away from me, cupping her face and wiping away tears screening like little trails on her cheeks. Her mouth is drawn in a miserable pout when she peeps at me.
All right, Kylie. Calm down. What happened?
It's my friend.
That's a little too vague, Munchkin.
Let her speak, Luke. Who is it, Kylie? Melody? Or was it the other one?
Yeah.
Did the two of you fight?
She nods, then immediately clams up after letting her sobs communicate the story instead, as much as her shaking shoulders can tell me. Right behind me, Luke gives a nervous help while he shifts on his feet. Must not be used to handling children crying. What a wuss.
Sweetie, I won't be able to help you if you don't tell me what happened.
Seconds pass before she responds again. Tears are already gone when she finally musters the strength to talk, her cries subsiding to mere sniffles.
I wanted to give her the rest of the jelly babies, but she won't come out.
Where? Where is she?
In the little girl's room.
Is she still there?
She won't say what's wrong. I kept asking her, but she told me to go
I wonder
away.
what's going on.
Career Day is going to start soon. I saw the prizes Miss Alice will give us for good. She's gonna miss it.
Is that what you told her?
Yeah, she won't listen. She won't even take the jelly babies. After I saved it for her, too. Tio Luke wanted to eat the red ones, but I told him it's not for him. Miss Pink, can you talk to her? Tell her to come out, and I'm really upset with her.
Ah, just a little childish argument then. At times like this, I'm glad to teach teenagers mature enough for petty squabbles. I do love being around children and won't mind having one or two of my own in the future. It takes a whole different level of patience to teach several of them. I also admire my colleagues who willingly took the challenge. Normally I leave this for their homeroom teachers to fix, but I can't just ignore the imploring look she shoots at me. That's another weakness I'll have to steel myself against before I even think of having one of my own. For now, I give in to it.
Okay. Tell me where she is, sweetie.
Sighing, I stand up and gesture for her to lead the way. Luke trails quietly behind us. Even with the small distance in between, his apprehension is palpable, understandably so. No one wants to be caught in the middle of a children's spat, but in the end, it's all just part of my job. I can just shy away from him, can't I? Kylie escorts us to an adjacent hall. At the side, the corridors and rooms lining its sides are empty. Save for gentle rustling of leaves, the twittering of birds outside, the tapping of our foot against the floor, the whole area stays eerily quiet. Not unusual, though. This is part of the building reserved for club activities at the end of the school day, and while the rest of the school busy with another event, it's only natural for it to be this deserted. Come afternoon arrive for class, and once again be filled with people. For the time being, I focus on the toilets at the far end, heading straight for it. Luke stays behind, opting to wait the end of this drama instead, obviously not wanting to deal with another person's kid. Meanwhile, Kylie follows right after me, usually silent as we approach the ladies' room. Sometime before we made the turn down the hallway, she has stopped sniffling and starts singing a tune under her breath.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London
Probably to
Bridge
waste to
is
calm herself.
falling down.
Maybe this is her way of preparing to pull her friend out of her sulk. It still reminds me of another person. I make no remarks on it, however. It's all part of growing up, they say. Never learn. The door is slightly ajar when we go into it, and from inside the sobs of a girl echo weakly, really audible even if it's kind of hush. Turns out Kylie is not the only one upset about this. Despite the situation, a smile forms on my lips as I call out to her friend.
Hello? Hello there? You're Kylie's friend, aren't you? Melody, is it? She's looking for you.
Children can be so amusing sometimes. Granted, they can be exasperating, especially around this age, but the endearing things about them outweigh those. All it needs is enough level of patience.
Career Day's about to start, too. You'll have to come out, or you're going to be really late for it. Miss Alice won't be happy if one of her kids isn't there. I heard she brought little gifts for everyone who'll behave.
I have an eerie feeling about all this.
Don't you want to receive one?
However, her cries show no signs of abating, they only grow louder. No, not close to a wall. Alarming regardless.
Are you okay?
From where I'm standing, it sounds almost like she's in some kind of pain. It's not impossible. Do that at times, hiding what ails them for fear of a reprimand. It's like that, coaxing her out may be useless. It also makes sense why she chose to move furthest from the classroom. Wasting no time, a gesture for Kylie to wait and amble towards the door, calmly so I don't alarm her. At the same time, a distinct sense of deja vu hits me. I've been in this position before, behind a door, with someone crying on the other side. My calls ignored as their cries could go into a wall. Just past this week, actually, and so being in the same situation before doesn't bring any comfort. I'm putting up for the child beside me. There's a thick undercurrent of worry trickling into my stomach. I take one last breath and I nudge open the door. All happens in the span of a second. I make it past 2 steps into the room. Her cries abruptly stop. Light footsteps shuffle behind me, come to a halt at the door. My heart skips a beat, and when I turn,
Kylie?
she's possessed again!
Miss Pink? Miss Pink? Why didn't you help her?
My whole body becomes motionless at the sight of her, words catching in my throat and heart pounding rapidly against my chest. This is Kylie, I'm sure of it. Yet nothing in the manner she speaks or the way she tilts her head in question carries the youthful, innocent vibe she always brings with her. What about the demonic smile and the piercing gaze she has in her eyes? As if I'm merely looking at a dead, hollow imitation of a child.
Can't you hear her? She's asking for your help.
But it's not those that trigger her memory. It's those chilling eyes, calling, beckoning.
Why won't you listen to her?
All at once the memory returns to me. A tide that has receded now returns to shore with an overwhelming force, carrying images of a single moment from days ago. Of a word passing by in a blur and of features I can barely discern under the little light there was. Now even a week has passed. It's minute while I keep my eyes trained on the child before me, and turn with such unbearable clarity. There are no horrid wounds this time, no blood streaming down the pale face. Thank heavens. She lips contort into a small, twisted smile. They brim with venom I've never expected to see in a child, sending tiny pinpricks of dread crawling up my limbs and winding up my neck. You're a bad person. People like you deserve to die. I can't breathe. Those whispers and laughters again, judging, mocking, taunting, each scathing word ringing sharp and true against my ears. My throat closes in, my whole body tenses. Chill cells at the tip of my fingers, every digit gone rigid from the cold. With every single draw of breath, a new struggle for air freedom, coils wrapped around my body tight and dragging me down. Gradual tortures descend to another bottomless abyss. On and on and on, until I lose touch with myself in the world.
Help me!
Till darkness claims me and, unexpectedly a note, distance, harsh and piercing, cutting through the thick stupor and shattering the haze without warning.
Are you ladies done with your business here? I don't have all morning to wait for you two.
My eyes snap open and the world shifts into place with a ragged gasp. I glance up, a different set of eyes greet me.
Are you okay, Miss Pink?
No anger, no vile hatred in them, just plain sincere concern. Bit by bit I become aware of my surroundings and myself as warmth steadily slips back to me. I've reached out for a nearby counter and steady myself at some point, and my knuckles have gone white from how rigid my grip on it is. It's over now, yet the tension has left my body. My heart still hammers hard against my chest with an erratic rhythm, and the breathing still comes in short, shallow bursts. Before me, Kylie fumbles with her hands, utterly unsure what to do to an adult. It was probably a laughable state.
Did you get sick? I'll call Tio, okay? Just stay here and don't move.
No. No need. Just leave me alone.
Tio will know how to fix you. Oh, wait, okay?
I wish I can speak reassurances to her, but I can't shake it off. Dread is there, twisting my insides in anticipation. What? I'm no longer sure. Pushing myself off the counter, I break off into a run. Brushing off the anxious look Kylie gives me, I gently push her away on my way out, at the foot of Luke's brows, and I stumble into him outside. Whatever they both saw on my face, I care not to know. Bloody hell, I don't even understand what's happening anymore. Oof. And with that, I'm gonna end this video here. So, Kylie is Luke's goddaughter, and she apparently has some sort of connections with him, otherwise the ghost wouldn't be haunting her as well, or possessing her at some time. Whatever the hell that was in those toilets. She said the other one was Takako, and I'm guessing that's the name of the ghost. I can't exactly really tell because I'm still kinda vague. It's kind of vague, like, as what happened and what the hell the ghost is. So I don't know if we're gonna find that out at all, but I'm hoping we do find out at least something about it. So, without further ado, that's it for this video. Thank you all who watched. And hopefully, I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!